Good evening, everyone. I'm very happy to be with you this evening. I will speak this evening about a verse from the Bhagavad Gita, 11:55. And in this verse, in the purport of this verse, Srila Prabhupada writes, this verse is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. So, it is a very important verse. It gives 5 points. 5 points if we know how to practice them in our lives. Krishna says, you go back to me to got it. So it's good to know these 5 points Krishna makes in this verse. I was thinking this afternoon, I wrote like an introduction to this verse. Because it's important to understand the context. If you see that the verse as something separate from the rest of the Bhagavad Gita, it's difficult to understand. So we'll first read the verse and then the first part of the purport, because it's a very long purport, because it's an important verse. So before we read from the Bhagavad Gita, we glorify Lord Krishna with the following words. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So, who knows the title of the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita? No one? Please? The universal form. Yes, Krishna has shown his universal form to Lord Krishna. And at the end, it shows, because Arjuna is disturbed by this verse, by this form, this universal form, that Srila Prabhupada calls it in the purport. It's a display of godless opulence. He wants to see again the two-armed forms of Krishna and be peaceful, because he has been disturbed by seeing these universal forms with so many heads and hands and this universal form. He has seen how the universal form has devoured Dronacharya, Bhishma Dev and so on. It's a horrible form. So he wanted to see the form of Lord Krishna, because he could not have a loving relationship with that form. So he said to Krishna, I long to see you again in your two-armed form. And then he first shows his Narayan form, four-armed form, and then his two-armed form, the most supreme form. And then Krishna says to Arjuna, you can know me as I'm standing before you, alone only by undivided devotional service, Ananya Bhakti, he says. That. I remember always the purport. Srila Prabhupada writes, one can even not begin to understand who Krishna is unless one takes shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. That's interesting. That even not beginning to understand who Krishna is. But then, in this verse today, Lord Krishna explains how to attain this Ananya Bhakti, That, and he gives a 5-point program. He gives the process how we can live in a transcendental position at every moment. That how to attain this transcendental consciousness. So Krishna consciousness means change of consciousness. That at the moment we are in material existence, and material consciousness, material existence means suffering. The people in this world are constantly struggling to enjoy, but most of the time, honestly, they are unhappy. That even now and then they get a drop of sensual happiness for a few minutes, then it's over. But is this real happiness? Happiness for a few minutes and then you suffer the whole day? No, that's not factual happiness. Prahlad Maharaj called this kind of happiness Maya Sukha. That's the happiness derived from the illusory energy, illusory happiness. But what's the point here? If you want actual happiness, then we have to realize who we are. We take birth in this world. I remember I was the fifth of 6 children. That I was born at home, but my sister, who was 5 years younger, she took birth in the hospital. Today you take birth in the hospital mostly. And after taking birth, all the family comes to see you, and they say, what a nice boy. And there you hear the first lie in your life. They are telling you you are the body. Welcome, you are the body. They give you a false identity. But we have a true identity. And that's completely neglected. Is that this is a kind of psychological mistreatment, I would say. Educating someone in something one is not. Is that appropriate? No, it's not. We are being brainwashed from birth. You are the body. You are Canadian. Or you are English, or whatever, or Chinese. You are man, you are woman. Yes, we have forgotten who we are. And that's really our own problem. Only problem. That's our only problem we have. We have forgotten who we are. And what's the function of the spiritual master? The spiritual master comes to tell you who you are. That's the bona fide spiritual master. Because the bona fide spiritual master has realized who he is and who we are. If we are realizing who we are, we feel ecstasy at every moment. But if someone asks you, who are you? You will identify with the body because you are trained like that. You will say, I'm born there, I have a white screen or a brown screen or whatever. But do we think our bodies are real identity? Or one may say But maybe that's your religious belief. What's your proof of this? What's your scientific proof that you are not a body? Well, we know that the body is constantly changing. Yeah. You don't have the same body as you were a small child. But in the meantime, all the cells of your body have changed. Every 6-7 years. So that means all your cells are changed. How is it then possible that you remember your experiences as a child if all the cells are changed? How is this possible? That means that the body and the self are not the same. Simple thing. They are two things. We remember yesterday I had a black shirt, today I have a white shirt. But we remember also our child experiences. The body has changed, but I remember. Remembrance means consciousness. There are so many proofs of this. There are people who their brain was practically completely gone, and still they had remembrances. They had consciousness. Our consciousness is different from the body. We have to learn to live on the level of consciousness, not on the level of the body. And then we become free from all anxiety. We are factually this consciousness. The spirit soul is the source of this consciousness. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Najayate Richate va kadachin. The soul, it's never taken birth. There was never a time it came into existence. It's eternal. We can say the spirit soul is we have a bulletproof soul. When Narada Muni came to see Ravan and said to Ravan, you should give back Sita to Ram, you will get in trouble. And Ravan became angry and he took a sword and he tried to cut the body of Narada Muni in pieces, but he tried and zip, it went to the body and Narada Muni was still staying there. Well, it was floating in the air. And Ravan became a little diplomatic. He said, what kind of body do you have? And Narada Muni said, this is a spiritual body. And Ravan said, can I also get such a body? And Narada Muni said, yes, no problem. You just have to render devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. And Ravan became angry. He said, impossible. But nobody can cut the soul in pieces, not with a knife, not with anything, not with a gun. Nobody can burn it. Because the self a real self has nothing to do with the body. So Krishna consciousness is the process of awakening the consciousness of our true self. That if we can revive that consciousness of the true self, then there is no anxiety in the world that can touch you. I'm giving that example of my own experience sometimes when I was a child of 5 years old. I was 5 years old, and of course that was in the early 60s, and my parents never taught me that I have to brush my teeth. That was not current at that time. So but I like to eat a lot of chocolate. The teeth were rotting in my mouth. But anyway, but I had such a toothache, very intense. And but then another friend came to play with me, and we were engaged in playing very intensely. And during the play, no toothache was not there. But then the young friend went away, and the toothache came back. So that's just a material example, where we put our consciousness in. That is our reality. So it's good to learn that we are not a body. That's the first point. But the second point is, who are you? That we have all a positive sense of existence, of awareness. I'm aware I'm sitting here and I'm seeing you all. You are aware that I'm sitting here and you are hearing me, hopefully. So we have consciousness, awareness. We have all a positive sense of identity. But now that we have understood we are not a body, what is our actual identity? This is a spiritual identity. If you look at the sun emanates rays, so many rays. The sun can be compared with a supreme being, a supreme spiritual being, which is emanating unlimited souls. And that supreme being in Sanskrit is Krishna. So we are a ray of God. So why does Krishna emanate so many unlimited living beings, spirit souls? So what is the purpose of him doing that? The answer is, he wants to enjoy a loving relationship with each of us. We can all have a unique relationship with Krishna. We have all a different fingerprint. All different. Yes. You will not be able to access my iPhone with your fingerprint. Not possible. You need my fingerprint. It's unique, right? So we are all, in a sense, unique. We have a unique relationship with Krishna. So we have that individuality so that we can serve him. So that's why we are existing. If we serve him, if we are connected with him through this devotional service, to this 5-point program that this verse explains, then we feel this ecstatic happiness that because the body, the existence of the body will always be troublesome. That it's not that you become a devotee, everything will become rose and charmanrita in my life, everything nice, a nice material existence. No, that's not possible. We have to change our consciousness. Come to the consciousness of the spirit soul. And that means understanding I'm not a body and understanding who we are. And we are this part of Krishna. And by giving him an enjoyment, Krishna gives us spiritual realization, spiritual bliss that Buddhi Yoga gives us. So that's called surrender. So how can we serve Krishna? Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, we have to follow his instructions. That says, Mahatmanas tumam parta devim prakati ashvita. The Mahatmas, the great souls, they know the art of taking shelter of the Supreme Lord, of this divine energy. You need to connect with Krishna. Krishna consciousness is about connection. So this is my iPhone, and I have a lot of apps on it. 3 full pages of apps. But nothing I can do with it now, because I'm not connected with the internet. After election I will ask the password. But I cannot connect with the internet, so what's the use? The same, what's the use of our existence if we cannot connect with Krishna, with this divine energy, that we will suffer thinking we are the body. So therefore Krishna says, Satatam Kirtayantamam, one should always chant my glories. He gives so many instructions in the Bhagavad Gita. Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yomi Bhaktya Payachi. He gives his menu if you want to offer food to him. One can say, I've no time for this Krishna consciousness, I have a job, I have so many things. Well, you have to read Bhagavad Gita. Krishna tells you what to do. Yat karosi, yat tasnasi, yat yosi dadasyat, yat tapasyasi tukantyan, yat krusma mat arpanam. Mat arpanam, whatever you do, whatever job you do it as an offering to me, Krishna says. Whatever sacrifice, whatever you do it as an offering to me. The art of connecting with Krishna every moment of the day. Yes. Of course, Krishna gives his supreme instruction, Man mana bhav mad bhakto machi mam namaskuru. Mama vesh satyam te padachani priyosime. Man mana, always think of me. That's how we connect with Krishna. Always think of me. And then, if you think of Krishna, Man mano bhava mad bhakto, you become Krishna's devotee. And in Majai, you will worship him. Mam namaskara, you will offer him respect. So many instructions in Bhagavad Gita. How to connect with Krishna. And Krishna says, if you have questions, dat vinapana partner paripashna sevaya upadekshante techam jnana stat vadakshana, then you can ask the Guru, serve him, submissively, ask questions, ask the Guru in a humble state of mind. So, how to become Krishna consciousness? How do we cultivate our relationship with Krishna? I'm reading Mat karma krit mat paramo mat bhakta sanghavarchita nirvara sarvabhutesu yasamam iti pandava. My dear Arjun, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. So Krishna has mentioned 5 points to do in this verse. Someone remembers one of these 5? One.
Remember me.
Please.
Remember me.
Remember me. That's not clearly said in this verse, but that's very important. Yeah. Someone else?
Engage in my pure devotional service.
Pure devotional service. Yeah. Other points?
Surrender.
That's not in this verse, but I'll read it again. And you all pay attention. I know you had so it was a hard day today, but try to hear. And everyone should remember 1 point at least. You promise? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. My dear Arjun, he who engages in my pure devotional service. 1. Then 2. Free from the contamination of fruitive activities and mental speculation. Next point. He who works for me. Next point. He who makes me the supreme goal of his life. Next point. He who is friendly to every living being. He certainly comes to me. So, we got pure devotional service, and then the other 4 points. Please?
Friendly living, every living being.
That's the last point. Very good.
One is free from mental speculation.
Free from mental speculation, yeah. And
He who works for me.
Good job for me.
he works for me, yeah. Yeah, that's good. There's 1 point.
Even makes Krishna is the supreme objective.
Yeah. Krishna says, Mat paramo, make me the goal of your life. So one should be also free from one's fruitive mentality, trying to enjoy. And that, yeah, we got it. Now I will read the first part of the purport, that we can read the other parts if we have time left. My dear Arjun, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contamination of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. Purport. Anyone who wants to approach the supreme of all the personalities of Godhead on the Krishna Loka planet in the spiritual sky, and be intimately connected with the supreme personality Krishna, must take this formula as stated by the Supreme Lord himself. Therefore, this verse is considered to be the essence of Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is a book directed to the conditioned souls who are engaged in the material world with the purpose of lording it over nature and who do not know the real spiritual life. The Bhagavad Gita is meant to show how one can understand his spiritual existence and his eternal relationship with the Supreme spiritual personality, and to teach one how to go back home, back to Godhead. Now here in this verse, which clearly explains the process by which one can attain success in spiritual activity, devotional service. And then Srila Prabhupada starts to explain in the next paragraph, Mat karma krit, that engage in doing work for me. Omagana Timandasyan Snansana Slakyan Sakshun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Namam Vishnu Padai Krishna Pastayam Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamani Namaste Saraswata Deve Gauravani Pacharani Nirvishesha Sinyavadi Paskachai Desatari. Srila Prabhupada Ki. So the first point, Mat Karma Krit. Srila Prabhupada calls it Krishna Karma, working for Krishna. This Krishna Karma is based on transcendental knowledge. And we explained last days 2 important aspects of transcendental knowledge. And this should be always in the forefront of our consciousness. These 2 points, that Krishna is the owner of everything, and therefore he has the right to enjoy that spiritual consciousness, understanding that we are the energy of Krishna. Everything in this world is energy of Krishna. Because material consciousness is the opposite. It's I and mine. This belongs to me and is for my enjoyment. That we have to give up. And how do we give that up? The formula is here. First, doing Krishna karma, working for Krishna. So Prabhupada explains in the purport here that it's not against becoming a businessman. One can be a businessman for Krishna, but instead of building a big house for one's own sense gratification, one builds a big temple for Krishna, that for his glorification, and one can have a room in that building and live there. That's no problem. But one does it for Krishna. By that's the art of doing work for Krishna. Connecting always your activities for the benefit, for the pleasure of Krishna. That is called Krishna karma. Srila Prabhupada said in India even poor men have a little land, and you can use the land and you cultivate flowers for Krishna. He gives so many examples so this is Krishna karma. For us, what does it mean? We have our job. But to do our job for Krishna, one must know the next point, Mat Paramo, that Krishna is the goal of all activities. Is the goal of all activities. That should be clear in everything we do. That Mat Paramo, he is the supreme goal. But understanding that Krishna is the supreme goal, that requires a serious amount of knowledge. One must understand how that Krishna is the source of everything. Everything is his energy. It comes all from his Brahman effulgence. And now Krishna is the controller of everything. The controller. And how is the Supreme Lord, the source of everything. Janmadayasya. Theologically, the definition of God has 2 points. It's the source of everything, and it's the controller of everything. The creator, the maintainer, the destroyer. So that should be understood. If one thinks the Supreme is only Brahman energy, then you cannot serve Krishna. The goal is not Brahman. This is his, Krishna says, Brahmanai Pratishtanam. Brahman is depending on me. So one must have a clear understanding what God means, not paramo. Impersonalists cannot have a relationship with Krishna, because with the Brahman energy you cannot have a relationship. But it's explained. Prameti, Paramatmati, Bhagavan iti sapyate. That's, yeah. Vedanta tattvavitas, tatjnanam, yeah. For Vedanta tattvavidas, I've got the second line, but it means Prameti, Paramatmati, Bhagavan iti sapyate. The absolute truth, the wise man concluded, has 3 aspects: Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Krishna, Brahman is all the spiritual energy. We are also Brahman, part of that energy. He is the controller of everything in his creation. He is the creator, maintainer, and so on. And at the same time, he is a transcendental person with which we can have a relationship. So the goal must be very clear. If the goal is not clear, then your work can not really be dedicated to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We must know Krishna's position, understand the difference between Vishnu Tattva and Shiva Tattva. What are expansions of Krishna? Lord Narayan, all the Vaikuntha forms are four-armed forms, are expansions of Krishna. And that's what this 11th chapter shows. He comes back to his supreme form before Arjuna. He takes first the 4-armed form and then the 2-armed form. This is not easy to understand. When Krishna was here on the planet, only a handful of devotees knew that he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Most of the Yadus were thinking, were seeing him as the all-pervading super soul, because they were demigods, that even they could not understand Krishna's position, because they have still some slight material desire. So the goal must be clear, and then we offer our work to Krishna. Whatever work you do it for Krishna, and then you get your salary. It's not that we don't want a salary. No, we want a salary to use it in Krishna's service. We understand it's not ours. I have to use it in Krishna's service. That's a change of consciousness. A devotee sees a flower and immediately he thinks, oh, this is a beautiful flower created by Krishna. I want to offer it to my Lord. A non-devotee sees a flower and he wants to sniff on it and enjoy. It's a different consciousness. So in everything we do our work, we get a salary, we see immediately, oh, that's God's Lakshmi. Lakshmi is Krishna's energy. That's very good, now I can use it in Krishna's service. So you have a loan for the house, you have to work for the house, right? Well, you turn your house into a temple. Is that difficult to do? No. You put a picture of Krishna in the house and you worship Krishna, you offer your food to him, so your house becomes a temple. You have to maintain your family. And you have to work for it. Yes, your salary goes to the family, but then the family, you have children, you educate them as devotees. And the house becomes an ashram, a temple. Then you are working for a temple. So Krishna does not say give everything up. No, karma. Mat karma krit. Krishna karma. We work for Krishna, but to work for Krishna, mat paramo, we must know who is. And then mat bhakta. Then one engages in devotional service. Everything we should become devotional service. We offer our food to Krishna. Whatever we do for his pleasure. But Sangha Varchita, freed from the contamination of fruitive activities and mental speculation. But it means also giving up the association of non-devotees. That's very important. Like I said, you are born, and since your birth, every time everyone tells you that you are the body. You go to school. There you are trained as being the body. Whole your life. And that's because we are associating with people who think they are the body, who are convinced about it. Instead of associating with them, we should associate with devotees. Devotees understand that they are a spirit soul different from the bodies. And therefore, because they are engaged in devotional service, they become free from attachment, fear, anger, and one, just by associating with them, one learns to act, how to act without attachment for things in this world. And without attachment to things in this world, how do we attain it? Become attached to Krishna. Attachment to Krishna means detachment from this world. So the devotees are teaching you how to become attached to Krishna by their lifestyle, by everything we do. You come to this temple, then you can only take Krishna Prasad here. Devotees here go on Harinam. They hear about Krishna. They worship Krishna. That always connected with Krishna. But for that we have to give up the association of non-devotees and accept the association only of devotees. That yes, we have to work and associate with non-devotees. Not really associate. We do our business with them. And beyond that, nothing else. And that's important, the business. Not really associating. Associating, what does association mean? Srila Prabhupada Swami explains in Nectar of Instruction 4 things that revealing in confidence your mind from one devotee to another and another devotee, or in confidence you receive transcendental knowledge from another devotee, that transcendental advice, that you receive knowledge from Srila Prabhupada's books. That's also that confidential engagement. Offering gifts, receiving gifts. That we offer, especially this exchange of Krishna Katha, hearing and speaking about Krishna. And then you have offering prasad and receiving prasad. So those activities we do with devotees, we never do them with non-devotees. Should be clear. We can do business with them, but we do only these points. Dan nirvara sarva bhuteshu. One must give up all one's envy to all living entities. One must become the friend of everyone. And that's friendly to every living being. It's not easy. If someone is really envious, then we become friends from them, but from a distance, not too close. But friendly to every living entity. That if you are selfless in your character, you become automatically the friend of everyone. That you feel that if you deal with someone and the other person has a motive to exploit you, you feel that. If the person is selfless, no motivation to exploit you, you feel this person is my friend. That was my first experience with devotees. The first devotee I met was in Antwerp, in Belgium. I went the first time to the temple, my complexion shoot. I never met devotees, so I visited the temple because I was reading the books. And the devotee who was there, who received me, the first thing I remarked was, he had time to listen to me, what I had to say. It's very rare in this world, someone who has time for you, just to listen what you have to say. Nobody has time anymore, too busy. But this person had time. And then they were serving me prasadam sweets. If someone serves you such nice sweets, you think this person loves me. But of course, I was not pure. My consciousness was complete on a material platform. So I was thinking, they are so nice with me, but what do they want from me? But I could not find any motive to, any motive to exploit me. No motivation. You can feel that, and then you feel this person is my friend. So that's what really attracts people to the devotees, is their selfless character. That great devotees, they have this attraction because they are completely selfless. That only serving Krishna and the devotees. And that, yes. So this is a 5-point program, And Krishna says that then someone who follows these 5 points, he certainly comes to me. That's quite a promise. So, because this non-enviousness, this purity in heart, is the condition to go back to the spiritual world, our real home, where there is no suffering, only loving relationships. But to go there, one must give up all motivation, material motivation. That is interesting. Of Lord Chaitanya says, "Na danam chananam na sundarim kavita vashri shikamayi janmani chanameshvari bhavta bhaktir ahaitukhi tvayi." He said, I do not want any wealth. I don't desire beautiful women. I don't desire many followers. I just want your causeless devotional service. And that's really what gives pleasure to the heart. The satisfaction in the heart comes from there. Because what we really need is love and to be loved. That's the need of the soul. The needs of the body, we know that eating, sleeping, mating, defending, and that's mostly satisfying this body. That's the mat paramour for the materialistic people. And it's not going well. One remains on the platform of suffering. To come out of the platform of suffering, we must stop identifying with the body. Stop identifying with the drama of material life. Once, the first time I went to India, I arrived in Calcutta and then took a taxi, and before the taxi was a rickshaw driver, and on the back of the rickshaw there was a text written, "Life is a drama." Life is a drama, yes. And the drama is conducted by the Super Soul, gives us all situations according as reactions of our past lives, these situations. And if we become absorbed in it, we start to take it very seriously. We suffer like anything. It's like someone going to the film. It's not just some lights on the screen. But many people become very much emotionally involved in what's going on the screen. And they identify themselves with it, and they laugh and they cry, and that. So, if we become too much absorbed in material life and forget Krishna, not follow this if you don't follow this 5-point program, you remain absorbed in I'm the body, and it's the suffering without end. And that absorption comes when one follows the mind, does not control the mind. Therefore we have to control the mind by this 5-point program. Always work for Krishna, always think of Krishna. aware Krishna is the goal of everything I'm doing, that I'm going to cook for Krishna. You cook for Krishna, you enter the kitchen, in the kitchen you place a picture of Radharani. Srimati Radharani is Krishna's energy, it's loving energy, Ladini Shakti. And she's in charge of Krishna's kitchen. Because she got a benediction from the Vasa Muni, a sage who becomes very easily pleased or very angry. So, but somewhere or other, Srimati Radharani pleased him by serving him very nicely. He gave her the benediction. Whatever you will cook will taste as nectar. So, Mother Yasoda, she knew that, and she contacted Kirtida, the Empress Shabanu. You please send your daughter to me to cook for my Krishna. Therefore, before we cook, we pray to Srimati Radharani. He said, you got that benediction, please bless me that I can cook very nicely, that it tastes very nicely because it's for Krishna. And then when you cook, every preparation you make, it must be perfect, because it's for Krishna. And by that, we can develop this feeling and this consciousness. Even while cooking, we have to cook every day. So always feel connected with Srimati Radharani during your cooking. She's the boss in the kitchen. And never forget the Mat Paramo, it's for Krishna. By that we can learn this art of doing things and develop this consciousness. This Krishna consciousness, Krishna, it develops slowly. Yeah. Srila Rupa Goswami says it's a process that goes mostly over many lifetimes. He says only, Rupa Goswami says if one is attracted to Krishna consciousness in this life, it's because he practiced in previous life. Srila Prabhupada also speaks in the purport of Bhagavad Gita, the slow process of Krishna consciousness. Although it's slow, it's very certain it's going to purify you. You can ask every devotee, that some are practicing 50 years, some 30 years, that my consciousness is not the same as 30 years ago, not the same as 20 years ago, not the same as 10 years ago, not the same as 5 years ago. It changes. It certainly, gradually, it becomes better. But we have to be patient. Srila Goswami said, Utsaya Nisaya Daryat. That enthusiasm, confidence and patience. It's a very sure process. And whatever advancement you make, Krishna says is never lost. So that is Lord Krishna's promise. Therefore, these 5 points here are very important. So, any questions? Yes.
So you mentioned that in the Yadu dynasty, how they were so close to Krishna also, but they couldn't understand him in full because they had so many material desires. So in our case, we have so many material desires. How can we really understand Krishna in this true form?
First, we can understand that by first by trying to understand why these demigods cannot understand Krishna. That because most of the others were demigods. Not all. Uddhav, he was a pure devotee, he was also living in Dwarka, and a few others. We know that when Bhumi, the earth, was exploited by so many materialistic kings, Bhumi, the earth, went to complain to Brahma. And Brahma said, I cannot help, but we can go to Kshirodakashaya Vishnu in Vetadvip and ask him for help. Because Lord Brahma, the earth, and all the demigods went to the beach of Svetadvip, or the spiritual planet in this universe, at the beach of the Milk Ocean, and far, far away in the ocean, you have Kshirodakashaya Vishnu lying on Anantashesh, and Lakshmi is massaging his feet. The Kshirodakashaya Vishnu represents the super soul in everyone's heart. So that's the conception of the demigods. They saw Krishna as the super soul, all-pervading. That as Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. But they were on the beach there, and Brahma, he started to meditate on the Supreme Lord. Now Brahma is a pure devotee. He has no material desire. But all these demigods have material desires. They want not subtle, not like us mostly, but they want to control the energies in this world, material energy. They are big controllers. So they have that subtle sense of wanting to control. Therefore they could not come in contact with Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. But Brahma could, because he was pure in heart. And he got a communication. There was a transcendental communication. And Kshirodakashaya Vishnu said to Brahma, I will soon appear as in the Yadu dynasty. So as he said, all the demigods should take birth in the Yadu dynasty to assist me. So then Krishna appeared, and the Yadus were all these demigods, and they saw Krishna as the all-pervading super soul. But Uddhav, who was also living in Dwarka, he was a pure devotee. He could understand that the Supreme Lord is Krishna. The super soul is only an expansion of him in this world. And Uddhav felt compassion with all these other Yadus. Because Uddhav sometimes in Dwarka, he would walk near to the Vairata hill, and from above the hill there would come rainy clouds coming, drifting, and these rainy clouds, they have the same color as Krishna's body conception, and just by seeing them, he entered in ecstasy, and he started to dance like a madman. So all these Yadus, they were thinking this Uddhav is a little mad. But Uddhav was thinking of the Yadus, that he was thinking of them with compassion. He was thinking that they are like a fish in the water. The fish in the water sees the moonshine but cannot understand what the moon is. So all these Yadus, they live together with Krishna, but they cannot understand who Krishna is. They think it's a super soul. So because they have a slight material desire to control these demigods. They cannot understand who Krishna is. It's not possible. As long as we have this desire, material desires in our heart, if our heart is not pure, we cannot really see Krishna face to face. It remains theoretical, that to a certain extent. But, although by Srila Prabhupada's mercy we can understand Krishna's position through the Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavatam. But the demigods, they had a problem. Does that clarify that point? Yeah. Something else? Yes.
Thank you very much for your lecture. So you mentioned earlier that if we practice in this life, it's because we were practicing in previous life.
That's what Rupa Goswami says. Everyone who comes in contact with devotional service in this life, who continues, it's a continuation. It means that one has been in contact with devotional service in previous life. Of course, that Srila Prabhupada said about that, yes, that's true, but one can also come in contact with, Srila Prabhupada, with his books, without any connection in previous life. Then by getting the information, one starts the process. But generally, yes, that you can see that if you look at the astrological charts of devotees, you will always see in their chart that they have from a young age a tendency for religious activities, for searching for spirituality. So that's clear from that astrology's calculation of your karma.
But then for non-devotees, how can one start? So then in future life, they will continue. So how one can become into contact with devotional service?
That's analyzed by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Madhurya Kanambini. He was asked, he analyzed what's the cause of bhakti. And I give a seminar on that, 4 sessions, but I explain just in very short this. It means that he found out bhakti cannot have any material cause. It does not come from material piety. With material piety you can go to the heavenly planets and enjoy there for many years and you have to come back. But it doesn't give you bhakti. And that it doesn't come from jnana also, that understanding that we are not a body and so on. That although there is jnana which is favorable to bhakti and jnana not favorable to bhakti, but the knowledge itself will not give you bhakti. So his conclusion is bhakti comes from bhakti. But then the question is, who has bhakti and who can give bhakti? So the arrangement is that Krishna, because all bhakti comes from Krishna originally, Krishna, he delegates the power to give bhakti to his pure devotee. And that's in the scriptures. There are many references he gives. But in practice, who is that pure devotee? Because the Uttam Adhikar, he thinks himself not a devotee, and he sees everyone else is a devotee. He cannot give bhakti with that high consciousness. So the Uttam Adhikar has to come to the Madhyam platform, which is the preacher of Krishna consciousness, he can give bhakti. That. Also Lord Chaitanya said, Brahmanda Brahmati Konya Bhagavan Jiva Hare Krishna Prasade Bhai Bhakti Lata Beach. That's when Brahmanda Brahmati, one goes up and down in this universe, Brahman, wandering in this universe, sometimes you become Brahma, sometimes an ant, and we lose our time going up in the Ferris wheel. So Brahmati, but then Brahmanda Brahmati Konya Bhagyavan Jiva, but when the Jiva, the spirit soul in this universe, becomes fortunate, then Guru Krishna Prasadi by Bhakti Lata Beach, then by the mercy of Krishna, he will come in contact with a bona fide spiritual master, and he gives the seed of bhakti to the disciple, and that, and then the watering of the seed must start. And we have seen that's the power of Srila Prabhupada. He was a pure devotee. So many yogis brought Bhagavad Gita to North America. Before Srila Prabhupada went, nobody became a devotee of Krishna. Nobody. Not one devotee was made from all these Bhagavad Gitas they distributed. But Srila Prabhupada came and he made so many devotees all over the world in a short time. And that's the potency. He could give bhakti. So, and these seeds, they are in his books. So we should give these books to others. And they open the books and Srila Prabhupada speaks to them. Anyway, it happened also to me. I started with books and reading the books. Does that help to understand? Yeah. Something else? Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Collector. And you mentioned that we all have unique relationship with Krishna, but for Krishna, much more important relationship with Radha than with just single soul, right?
Not really. Krishna has a relationship with all of us. And that's in about says this Tvam Bhakti Yoga Parihachita Saroja. I don't remember the Sanskrit now, but it's Tvam Bhakti Yoga Parivartita Rich Saroja. The verse says that when one performs devotional service by hearing about Krishna, gradually to the ear, the heart becomes purified, and when the heart is purified, then Krishna takes seat in the heart. And he takes seat in the heart in the form that the devotee feels attracted to, the form he feels attracted to of Krishna. He appears in the heart. So that shows we have all a unique relationship with Krishna. We have our Ishtadev, the form of Krishna that we feel attracted to. So we have a unique relationship, but that relationship will develop when we come to the bhava stage, and that may be still long away. And Krishna reveals this, reveals our svarup, our spiritual relationship with Him. That's something that it doesn't happen from one moment of another. It happens gradually. But we have all a specific relationship with Krishna. We can see the example of Gop Kumar. The story of Gop Kumar we find in Spirit Bhagavatamrita written by Sanatana Goswami. There are two stories there. One story is where Narada Muni is searching for the highest devotee, and he goes from one devotee to another. But then also the story of Gop Kumar, who travels to all the planets of all the planetary systems of the material world, and then goes into Vaikuntha, and then comes back to the early Vrindavan, and finally he arrives. He's in Vrindavan, and he chants his Gopal mantra, a mantra glorifying the Lord Krishna. So he's in the mood of a cowherd boy, and he's in Vrindavan, and suddenly he sees Krishna in the forest, and he runs after Krishna, and then he comes, and then suddenly Krishna disappears, and he comes in at the Yamuna, and he falls in the Yamuna, and a few moments later he's in a spiritual Vaman, a spiritual airplane, and he travels to all the material worlds and all the spiritual worlds, Vaikuntha, then enters into Goloka Vrindavan. And when he arrives in Goloka Vrindavan, then his first impression is this is a flawless place. You can feel the devotion in the air, and he feels also, this place resembles very much to the earthly Vrindavan where I stayed. But then he wanted to go to the house of Nanda Maharaj. He wanted to see Krishna, and he saw some gopis, and he tried to get contact with them, but they were so absorbed in something he could not contact them. He tried to contact them and said, oh, but it was like they could not see him. Of course, Krishna, it's in Krishna book that separation of the gopis. There, this chapter starts with the gopis. They were associating with Krishna during the night time, during the rasa dance, but they wanted also to associate with Krishna during the daytime. So when Krishna, during the daytime, Krishna was herding cows with the cowherd boys, and they were feeling separation from Krishna, and they were always thinking of Krishna. So Krishna went to the forest, but their mind went with him. Krishna is known as Manohar. He steals the mind of the gopis. So they could not see him, and Gop Kumar, he started to feel, he became a little hopeless. He tried to contact them, but then Purnamasi, an elderly gopi, saw him, and he showed them, yes, this is the way to the house of Nanda Maharaj. And then he walked to the house of Nanda Maharaj, and when he came there, he got another extraordinary experience. He saw Nanda Maharaj, Mother Yasoda, and many elder gopas. They were standing before their house as statues, frozen. He was thinking, what is this? And they were looking, their eyes were fixed on the horizon. And he looked at the horizon, and suddenly he saw dust clouds all over the horizon. He was thinking, what is this? And then out of these dust clouds, he saw some cows. And he saw thousands and thousands of cows coming. And then suddenly he saw in front of these cows, cowherd boys. And then he saw in front of these cowherd boys, he saw Krishna. And he started to run towards Krishna. And Krishna started to run towards him. And when they met, they embraced each other. And Krishna said to Gopkumar, "Oh, Svarup, where have you been all this time? I missed you so much." And Krishna, out of love for his devotee, fell on the ground, so-called losing consciousness. But that means Gopkumar, his eternal form was Svarup. I think is a family member of Srimati Radharani. So that means that this is Svarup, Krishna Svarupa Hoy. We are Krishna Das. This is Krishna Das, Krishna Svarupa Hoy. We are a servant of Krishna. But what kind of servant? Krishna will reveal us if we come to these higher stages. That could tell more about this, but does that help you to understand that we have all a relationship with Krishna, and it will be revealed. No need to worry about that. When we come pure in heart, Kelly, it will be revealed. Okay, it's 8 o'clock already. I think we should stop here. It's time for prasad. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki.